Am I racist?
The question I was asking.
Well, that's just what I'm saying. Okay, so let's. That's just nothing to do with any film. I'm just asking. Am I racist? And if the answer is no, then I need to fucking up my game. Okay.
Bro, you got to watch Am I Racist? There's a quote for anti-racism from the guy who wrote the book. This is what the movie starts out with. The only way to fight past discrimination is with present discrimination.
What?
Yep.
Was that like a joke quote or
no? That is a real quote.
Was that a retarded quote?
No, that is from Abreem X. Kendi, the author of How to Be an Anti-Racist. It doesn't end there because he's got quotes in there from people saying some holy shit. And we all knew this was like happening, but when you hear the hustlers fucking say it, by the way, they were paid exorbitant amounts of money to be there. I think he gave Robin DiAngelo $50,000 for the interview. The woman who did the viral video of the Sesame Street character, like looking like it ignored her kids, and it became this big scandal. It was $15,000 to talk to her for like 10 minutes. It was, and he puts the price tag right next to everybody he had to pay to talk to. It's good. Jeremy Jahns is like legit under attack. We'll talk about that a little later too. Like,
have you seen the fucking vitriol, man? It gets so crazy so fast. Because I'm totally fine with seeing shit like, I've never been a fan of that guy. It's like, that's fine. But
whatever.
You get some people who are like, he actually adds more harm into the world than anyone ever. You're like, wait, what?
But it's so weird that when you get, I'm going to go after this person because they don't hold the value that I have. Right. And by the value, what I've been told to fucking say, because I'm a vacuous, empty fucking shell of a person who doesn't have their own opinions.
Has any major corporate critic reviewed it yet? Because at the time of recording, not a single one.
I'm confused. Why are they treating it like the plague? Why wouldn't they just review it negatively? Isn't that the usual thing for them, or no?
It would be, but Matt put up the responses he got from on Twitter. The responses he got, which is no way. Take us off your list. Fuck you. Jeremy Jahns is a mainstream critic, but he's not a mainstream corporate critic.
And the fact that he did it was not a surprise to me. And I assume, Gary, that's what you're kind of looking for. It's like, who's surprising us today? Who have we got that's like actually doing it when you wouldn't expect him to?
Exactly.
I view Jeremy Jahns in as much as I don't care or know or give a shit about what he does once every 4 or 5 years in a booth and tick something. I don't care. All I know is that whatever he does, whatever he reviews, I believe that's his honest opinion on it.
Yep.
It's the important thing.
Which is the important thing. Whether I agree or disagree is irrelevant. I believe the guy's got integrity and he'll just say what he wants. If he hated it, he hated it. I think legitimately. If he liked it, he liked it legitimately.
No, Jahns doesn't work for anybody. He works for himself.
Yeah. So what is the critic score on Rotten Tomatoes?
Yes. It is a line.
Oh, okay. What is the audience score?
Last time I checked, it was 99%. And if you go to verified audience, it's 96%.
Oh,
what does a line for the critic score mean?
It means nobody. There's nothing there.
What? Nobody?
Alan Ing.
You're actually correct on both. There is not a single critic review.
Major corporate critic. It has to be triggered by enough people. Christian Toto, Alan Ing, Jeremy Jahns is up there.
It made me laugh.
But I think it has to be 8. Is it 8?
So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. There's Alan.
As our boy Alan.
1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6. It's only 6.
How many did you say there needs to be? Is like 10?
I think there's 8 or 10. I can't remember.
What the fuck?
It's actually at 100%.
Yes, currently it is 100% on the critics.
I think that's what's going on there, because like to me is surely it should just be up the second because that would incentivize all of them to get reviews in, right? To be like, if no one else does it, my one will represent fully the critic's view. But no, they don't. So they don't want it to be too weighted in favor of one critic or something.
They don't. Yeah, I mean, maybe
It just feels weird to me as a system, but whatever. I've never liked Rotten Tomatoes.
It's there to give us a guide, but it's completely corrupt. Like all rating systems are completely corrupt. We saw that with IMDb, which is owned by Amazon, which by the way, they're doing it now. Isn't getting talked about it much, but there's a bunch of bottish looking people giving Rings of Power season 2 10 stars or 5 stars, whatever it is, and they're deleting negative reviews because they own the fucking website. Why wouldn't they?
Well, I know because I had my Rings of Power review removed.
Yes, you did.
From season 1. I actually did a video, and my review was, I purposely didn't use any inflammatory language or anything like that. I just gave a review, and I gave it a 1.5 out of 5 or something. I would have given lower, but to see whether or not it would stick.
Yeah, I remember you saying. Yeah. Which is an interesting idea. It shouldn't get caught by like a botnet that wants to grab you with like, you gave it a 1, you must be fake.
I gave it like a 1.5 whatever, and gave it like a proper review. Not like this is shit. Gave it a proper
the N word like 5 times, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Grabthar's Hammer makes a very good point. Does anyone actually care about the critic side anymore? Sorry to spoil a little bit of my video, but overall I think it's a major plus that they're not just not reviewing, refusing to review it is going to probably make more people
make it
see it.
Seem like sort of it's gonna have a mystical element to it. Like you gotta go find this a unicorn. Certainly a curiosity to compare reasoning too, right? Because. Yeah. Chris Stuckman has sworn off reviewing so many things. You'd be like, oh, why? And it's like, well, because they're too bad. He won't review them because they're too awful. You know what I mean? Because he said, he doesn't want to upset any of the filmmakers, right? He wants to be in a world where we can all be kind and nice to each other. But my point is just like what's this era of like, I refuse, I hang up my hat, I no longer shall I express my. It's a fucking movie review. You don't need to be so dour about it, like you're fighting for the world to save it or something. Like, even with this new format, testing out with Madam Web, right? He spent his video talking about how it's the studio that ruined a director, an artist, and a team's work. When had he just given a second to look at what the director had said about her work, being Madam Web, she's quite happy with it. Got a lot of her decisions, her choices in there. She made the film she wanted. She was, all these different ways of expressing the artistry behind it, which to me makes it all funnier. I'm just like, you go, girl. I want you to make another one. Really want Madam Web 2. Don't think we're going to get it.
No.
Sony are cowards, obviously, but that's fine. But, I think it's more disrespectful. I think it's more respectful to see someone try to create something. Say, for example, as you try to paint me a wonderful picture of a sunflower. And it just looked like a pile of shit, like an absolute. And if I laughed at it, I would be keeping note of you, but I'd be like, I hope you know that it's okay that I'm laughing at it. Like, this is fun. This is a funny thing that we've got happening here. As opposed to, I will not give you my perspective because it could harm your feelings. It's like, oh, so you think it's bad? It's like, no, I'm just not going to tell you.
That's just it. Doesn't that in itself tell me that you think it's dog shit?
Well, so is it not condescending as hell? It's like, you're willing to tell me that you're not going to tell me because I can't handle it. Thanks.
Yeah. I can't handle it, or it might detrimentally, but in case of Stuckman, I think it might detrimentally affect a potential relationship for business.
Well, no, yeah, I get absolutely the angle, but like I said, I just found it annoying that he'll even go as far as like saying, I'll defend the artist, and I just wish you were in the room when he was saying all that stuff, just to see him be like, excuse me, like, I made these decisions. I made them because I felt it worked for the film. And he'd immediately be like, no, of course. I 100% understand. Yes, absolutely. I'm just saying the studio, obviously, they made the film worse than it could have been. And she's like, no, Sony were very kind and welcoming. And, imagine she said that, like, the studio were very supportive of my decisions or something. Then Chris would be like, okay, well, something went wrong.
Nerdrotic.com. Please subscribe.